Today is Wednesday, December 10th, 7th, and we will start the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Next, we will we will do the approval of the meeting minutes from November 10th.
Removed.
Second. Any discussion? John Muller, did you have any correction for the minutes?
No, nothing major. Just I should congratulate Bob on his reelection. Yes, I guess I wasn't reelected, but it's a minor thing, so we don't have to worry about it.
Thank you. We'll vote on approval. All in favor?
Aye.
We will pause on the chair's comments until Jonathan Cargan's here. We'll go with finance member comments. We'll start online with Dr. Muller.
Thank you. No particular. When we get to the discussion, I'll bring it up. Thank you.
Bob Reinhardt.
No comment. Okay.
Just some updates. Madison Beach and Rec Commission met last Tuesday, and I think it's been fairly well publicized, but there was a public input session at Neck River. 80 people participated. Apparently it went very well. Most completed surveys. Again, kind of premature note, not talking any dollars yet, but I figure I would just update the group. And there's going to be again, I think this has been out there. There's going to be another input session tomorrow night at Senior Center, 4:30 to 6. So encourage anyone that wants to get in on the ground floor and let their feelings be heard. Now's the time.
Thank you. Jude.
Madison Youth and Family Services met last night. We talked about some of the issues that are on the agenda for tonight, but also the Madison survey that takes place every 2 years. And there's going to be a public session on the results of that survey on February 5th. I believe at 6 o'clock. 6:30. Thank you. And where is that to be held again?
It'll be hybrid.
A hybrid.
Well, actually, I think we're scheduled in this room.
Yeah.
So the people want to come in person to partake in it, and you can also access it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bob.
I just want to say that I had an amazing meeting with Stacy, and we discussed the entire CIP program for the town. And there is nothing more valuable than anyone who's a member of the Board of Finance to take the time to meet with her. She's open to it. She absolutely understands 100% about how it functions, how it operates, all the ins and outs of what CIP is about. And in order for our members to become a little bit more in the know about how the process works and what it's about, she has opened her door to every single member to come in. It was very informative, very valuable, and I encourage everyone to get the opportunity to do the same.
What? No comments from me.
No comments.
No comments. Okay.
Thank you. Stacy is wonderful. I've been trying to meet with her for a year. Just on behalf of myself, want to thank all of you being here. I want to wish this is our last meeting before the end of the year. Plus, there's a special meeting that's here. So I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, a happy Hanukkah, a happy and healthy New Year. And we have a lot of work to do after the first of the year, so enjoy the little play. Thank you. Anybody from the public, actually, our first selection, Peggy, you want to say something?
Yeah, also want to wish everybody a wonderful holiday season and Merry Christmas, New Year. The guard board does have meeting roots at Christmas, unfortunately, so we're always working on the board selectmen. But do want to update, I know I circulated the press release, but just for the public's benefit, we had a successful bond issuance on December 3rd. Town issued approximately $21 million in 20-year bonds at a effective interest rate of 3.4%. And then we also issued another 25 million approximately bond anticipation notes, which are short-term one-year bond bands to help finance our projects, and that came in at an effective interest rate of 2.579%. So it was a great offering. We got a lot of bids on it. Successful issuance and AAA rated bonds and snapped up, and so we were excited to see that happen. And hats off again to Stacy and her team, and also Bill Lindsay, who's not here, a bond advisor, did a great job getting us through the process. So, the other thing I just wanted to mention too, I went to a luncheon, the Connecticut Chief of Police Association's luncheon, and there was an award that was issued to a Madison police officer, a new officer who joined us this year, Connor Sirachi, who came in with the highest GPA at the academy in the entire state. So it was an award that he was given, and that was exciting to see. And then Senator Cohen had actually received an award also for from the Connecticut Chiefs Association. So it was a really nice luncheon, and nice to see Madison during that. So that is my update.
Thank you. Any questions for the first selectman? Anybody from the public who would like to speak? Name and address, please.
Kathy McGrady, 23 Twin Coves Road. I am the chairperson of the Madison Youth and Family Services Board. I just wanted to read something to you. On behalf of the entire Madison Youth and Family Services Board, I want to express our wholehearted support for establishing a full-time outreach social worker position for our town. The need for this role continues to grow, and having consistent full-time support is essential to sustaining the progress we are seeing across both resident well-being and public safety. A permanent full-time position would allow this work to be carried out with stability, continuity, and the capacity required to meet increasing community demands. I respectfully ask the Board of Finance to give strong consideration to making this position full-time.
Thank you, Kathy. Is anybody else from the public who'd like to speak? Gene, anybody online?
Not with their hands raised, no.
Anybody else? Second, third time to be non-public information session is closed. New budget business, item 7, discuss and take action to approve a special appropriation request from the North Madison Volunteer Fire Department in the amount of $65,000 for the replacement of a fuel tank, which was approved by the BOS on December 9th, 2025. Have that form of motion, please. Someone. Seconded Bob. Moved by Bob. B. Seconded by Matt. Discussion. John?
Mr. Chair, just wondering, this is a special appropriation. This wasn't anticipated and didn't go through the formal budget process? Is something that just happened, or?
We have a member coming on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was not expected.
Something just broke, started leaking.
The tank was leaking. It's
Chris Bernier.
Chris Bernier, yes.
Okay.
Chris, you want?
Wait, I'm gonna throw it off.
Promote it.
There he is. Oh, it's there.
Chris, can you hear us?
Yep. Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, everyone. Sorry, just looking over as a panelist. Chris Bernier, chief with the North Madison Fire Department. Just to answer your question about the fuel tank. So we found out that it had a leak earlier in what's called the interstitial space. It was leaking between a containment area within the tank. And through our research, we found that it was over 30 years old, put in sometime in the 90s. And basically, it's reached the end of its useful life. So it wasn't really on our radar that there was a problem. So we worked with the town to get some quotes, got a quote from someone that's on the state contract. And that's the proposal that's there before you. It's a fuel tank for both gas and diesel to fuel our fire apparatus. And also for continuity of operations, the system would also be available to fill up at Public Works or police department or EMS if they needed fuel for whatever reason and they're the northern part of the town, they would be able to use the system as well to fuel up.
Chris, what's your life expectancy? I'm assuming this is a new tank for this.
It'd be around the similar time frame, probably about 20 years or so.
Thank you. Any questions, Chris? John?
No, thank you for that explanation. So the leak was just recently identified.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, there's a motion in a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And aye. Got you, John. Any opposed? Abstention, that motion carries. Thank you, Chris.
Great, thank you so much.
Item 8, discuss and take action to approve a funding request from Madison Hose Company number 1 in the amount of $19,475 for ladder truck repairs from the Madison Hose Company number 1 Fire Department apparatus truck replacement fund, which was approved by the Board of Selectmen on December 9th, 25. I get that in form of a motion, please. Motion made by Mac. I get a second. Second by Jude. Discussion. Jude? Next. Go ahead, Jude.
This truck replacement fund, is that part of the CIP? Yes.
John?
I guess kind of the same question. We just found out recently that this had to happen.
Repair needed, and we have a balance in the capital project fund,
Yeah.
so we do have an option to take it out of our unassigned or out of the fund itself, and we do have sufficient balances in there.
But the fact is something we didn't anticipate happening. It just happened. Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Raise their hand.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstention. That motion carries. You have item 9, discuss and take action, discuss timeline and funding options for NPD and NYFS. The outreach to the social worker. I know Scott and I know the chief's here this evening, and we had a nice presentation.
Don't make me take that out again.
We're not going to Scott. I don't have a gavel, but it will hit the table. So, Chief, I know you wanted to say a few words about this.
Thank you.
Actually, Chief, let me get a motion in a second. Let's actually, we're talking about timeline, so why don't you go and then we'll get the motion in a second. Good.
We hired the history of the social.
Yes.
5.5 hours a week. We're looking to increase it to approximately full-time 35 hours. He joined us a little bit, I guess, in middle of March officially. Got over 180 cases she's worked so far. And that's the individual families, not the individual people. We see a need, most certainly, she's worth the weight of gold. She's done for the department. The follow-up that she has, we used to go, before we had it, we'd go to some houses 3, 4, 5 times in a month without bringing it to closure, get it to the right services. And this young lady has most certainly done that. We talked about how I know July 1st, we're looking to go to full time. I have 3 slots that I have to fill for police officers. It's very slow to find qualified police officers currently. So I suggested the idea of perhaps we could take whatever the additional is to get us to July 1st from my recovery labor account, which would approved dollars, but obviously be a line transfer. I believe strongly in the program. It's not mandated by the state yet, but I don't see us going backwards on the things going forward. I know we've seen all the presentations of all the successes of the program. Thank you, Scott. But I beseech you to approve this. I think it's when it first came out and they talked about it, I wasn't quite sure where this is going to go, and it's obvious where it's going. It's successful.
Thank you, Chief. I would like a date that you want to start. July 1st was the
January 1st.
January 1st. Thank you. And I know we've had discussion for the new members on the Board of Finance since when I've been on this position, which took a while, and we asked them to get some grants. We are now. So what I heard you say is you're looking for a January 1 start date, and you potentially have the money in your own budget at this time.
Correct.
I finish out the end of this fiscal year.
Absolutely.
We have the grant as well. So we have.
I'm aware of the grant.
Yep, so this is paid for, and I think what the chief is offering is really just making up that differential. So any money that we got left on the grant.
Use for next year.
Got it.
Sorry, I didn't mean that.
Okay. That is very much true. If I could just add, bringing this to your attention now, and I could understand if there's questions in the public or even amongst yourselves about doing this outside the regular budget workshop. This is a fairly unique position and one that does stand out across the state. I do feel like it does deserve some sort of special attention to it. This is not a piece of equipment or other things that are very normal for the municipal world to consider. This is a human services position that I think we've made the case, has really been very beneficial. The timing is important because we know that she's got the work. She's busy. The day in the middle of the week in which she's not at work, she comes in on a Thursday and she's pretty swamped. So we have no concerns about, not having enough for her to do. This is a job that she, in terms of it being full-time. We know that the position, in order to recruit and retain, is going to need to be full-time. So for us, it's really kind of a no-brainer in terms of, if we're going to invest in this position, this is the best way to do it. And it's kind of a unique opportunity for the town to be doing this now. So that's what I would like to share. We're not doing anything, again, for the public benefit. This is not doing an end around the budget. We couldn't be more public or obvious about what we're trying to do. We put this in the newspaper. We've done press releases and social media as much as we can to make people aware. So this is not something we're trying to sneak up on anybody for.
So I'm just going to jump in here and I'm going to ask for a motion in a second. And first, like one, then we'll go to you. I think we're all impressed, and I think not just with the person, but more with the work that was being done. So I am going to ask for a motion so we can formally discuss this. A motion to approve the MPB and MYFS outreach social worker to full-time, 35 hours a week. Beginning January 1, 2026, the additional funding will come from the PD's line item. They should give me that for this year. Can I get that in the form of a motion, please? Thank you, Bob. Can I get a second? Okay, so we have a motion and a second now to approve the social worker full-time January 1, 2026 discussion.
John, I have a question.
Yes, I'm gonna go John all the way. Hey, John, where are you tonight? We're not used to you not being here in person.
I'm in Manhattan right now. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. What's the delta, the difference between the going to full time from January to July? What's the difference amount in terms of dollars? And I think if I understand correctly, you're going to fund that with monies that are from unfunded or unfilled positions plus grants. Can you give us a little more detail on that?
So the grants that we're using, and I think the suggestion by the police chief, he just said it was to use the funds that he had in line items because he has some vacancies. I believe it's less than 10,000, 7,000. What's the delta?
The 7,000 would be the difference.
7,000 is the difference for this current fiscal year from part-time to full-time.
Wow. Only 7,000 for 6 months. That's a bargain.
7 hours a week, we're at it.
Yeah.
Boil it down that way, Scott.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. I'm going to go that way. John.
Yeah.
Did you ever get up or no? No. Okay, John, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard all good things about this position and what's happening, but I just believe this is something we should do through the regular budget cycle. So nothing against what's being done in the candidate. But the fact is we say $7,000, but we're adding another position to the budget. And then we'll have to absorb that at some point. And I've heard something about grants, but apparently that's not a done deal yet. And I don't know what the status is exactly. And I don't know what that would cover. So that's just where I am at this point.
That's it. Any other comments?
I just like to say that I think that it's an anomaly situation, and I think that this is very strategic what we're doing. And I am in full support of the recommendation.
Jude, I see your hand there.
I think that there's a lot of support for this position. The Board of Selectmen had a unanimous vote on it, which I think speaks loudly. And I think amongst this board, we have all talked about it and the support that we have for this position. I think it just comes down to whether we want to fund it as of January 1 or in July. And my major concern is that we have a person now who we've already invested time and training in, She knows our system, she knows our officers, she's well, and she's working in a part-time situation, and I'm very concerned that she's not going to be around in July. And I think this makes that a very unusual situation that the remedy is $7,000 spend. And I think it could be well worth it and making an exception to the usual process. And I would be in favor of going on January 1st.
Thank you, Jude. Go ahead, Matt. And then I'm going to Peggy to speak on this.
So Stacy, the 7,000 is a delta. Does that include the benefits and everything else?
Includes our payroll taxes. The health insurance, we don't necessarily talk about that because we're claims driven, because we're self-insured. So we can't really quantify that until we move forward. So our budget for next year is already determined based on our prior claims.
Right.
So that is not included in this calculation.
Okay, but it's safe to say it is higher than 7,000.
No, the 7,000 includes
It includes the payroll taxes, but benefits.
payroll taxes, not the
So it's not.
claim. No,
Yeah, right.
health insurance.
So just for clarity, now I definitely support this. You know, I want to see this. It was very convincing. You came through last time. It was 179 encounters, 180 encounters now. Behavioral health, lots of things. That's draining cheap runs workforce and stuff like that. And it's better to have somebody clinical there to take care of these things. I too, as like John Rise was concerned about starting it early, as opposed to the budget cycle, just to have proper process. But the game changer for me tonight is you want to self-fund it. You know, between the remaining grant money and, you know, not hiring a police officer to help pay. That's a game
We're gonna
changer.
have a gap of time before we
Gap.
write off.
Yeah.
And so because of that, that's gonna create an uncovered wage, so had to be uncovered, put towards that. Including whatever, we have sport spent in medical.
Peggy, anybody wants to say something?
I thought you did a great job. To me, this is a unique situation given the timing of it. This is a unique area. We have somebody who's successful in it. She got her degree while here. She's trained. She's helped build the department. Why would we risk losing that? She needs full-time benefits. You know, nowadays we know going out and getting benefits is very expensive. We're fortunate because we're self-insured that, you know, it doesn't incrementally, every person added doesn't have an incremental cost or benefit line, but obviously it's claims driven. So anyways, I just think it's, you know, I think I've been doing this 6 years and I think there's only one other time I've come for a position request outside of the budget. And that was during COVID. So, you know, and this has been talked about since 2022. I was chatting with Scott and we went down the timeline and it was originally submitted as a position in the 2024 budget request. And that's how we decided to pursue grants. Because we were concerned about what the state was going to mandate. At the time, there was a lot of discussion about maybe mandating this. So we said, let's get a grant, test run it, develop what the job is going to look like, and then and see what comes out of it. And I think it's been a huge success. So.
Chief, you wanted to add something to that?
I will. This position is the right component that puts people in place, that puts them in the right place to follow whatever the issue is or whatever the services they need. Before she ever arrived from my balcony, I'll make it short, Mr. Chairman. We would send 2 officers to a crisis, someone in a crisis. They'd be there for an hour, maybe 2 hours, people off the road, and maybe a trip to the hospital. Maybe one of them accompanied them to the hospital. And we didn't really have, we hope the hospital, or we refer back to the family services if the person was turning to town for further. But this person, this position, so, and then when they explained it out on House Bill 6004 and the Police Accountability Act, they said what they told us what it will do for the town. A little skeptical all the time. It has. Well, certainly. I'm not having officers going to the same household multiple times at the wrong time. Well, we run sometimes 3, maybe 5 league room. That's a big deal. So most importantly, it gets people to serve. And it's calls or emails from people that are actually treated. So that's off all of them so making this happen. And thank you for those that support.
I do appreciate that. And Peggy, I don't know if it's probably us board or myself that cut that out of the budget, just so you know, in 23, 24.
Sorry.
letting you know because we wanted to see the effect and making sure you weren't sure, I wasn't sure what, but what we've heard and what we realized. It's been amazing. If it can alleviate some of the, and no offense to the PD, they are a specialized service, but when she was here, she'll have a way of maybe opening it up to people who aren't a police officer sometimes. And so there's a lot of good. So the fact that it's not during the budget process, it doesn't bother me. It happens sometimes and you have the right position and you have the data to show it up. I'm going to support this wholeheartedly. So any other comments?
Just a point of clarification. I mean, obviously for this year, you have some extra money because officers weren't hired, but I don't think you're inferring that for going forward, that you're going to reduce your position count by one.
No, we're not.
No, I
When we went with the
Yeah.
position, we were hoping and looking towards the next fiscal year.
Yeah.
Either on with an additional 700.
John, you were absolutely correct. This will be, let something else happen. This will be an opposition in the budget. They'll have to be funded.
and we're making that decision now. It's basically what's
Making a decision to put somebody in full time.
And just some clarification on the grant. I know it might happen or
Well, we
I
have,
think it's going to happen. And what would that absorb?
so we have.
Going forward.
Great question, John. So we have the grant now. And we are anticipating, so if we include the chief's $7,000, that's it'll be about 25 grand, right? So we can anticipate up to about 25 grand in June left on the grant. And what we're saying is we can apply for a budget modification and an extension to use that remaining money into the next fiscal year. So we're gonna bring up to 25 grand to the table to help offset the cost next year. And to be clear, that's just next year.
In
Fiscal
beyond
27.
beyond that,
Right.
I know most of these grants work. They're usually like 3 years.
So we got
Is it
this one for
5
2.
years?
Yep, so this was a 2-year
Yeah.
grant period,
Okay.
and that's why we have to ask for an extension. If we did nothing, the grant would sunset at the end of June, and whatever money was left on it would be money we'd be giving back
Right.
on spending.
Okay, but the point is that that's it.
Yeah.
Okay,
With this grant.
thank you. No, I
That's our
okay, so I just want to clarify that. Yep.
Any other comments and discussion? You know, all those in favor, the motion, let me give you the motion because the motion is to approve the full-time position for the MPD NYFS social worker beginning January 1, 2026. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Aye. Any opposed? John? Else, motion carries.
I really feel like clapping. Can I clap?
You can clap. As long as you don't forget the presentation.
No presentation, I promise. Thank you, guys.
That's fine.
We're very happy. Thank you.
Right, item 10.
4 years.
As I said, the reason discussing action we just did. Item 11, discuss and take action to approve the 2026 Board of Finance meeting schedule. We did change a couple things. Everybody go through that.
That's fine.
Go with it. Someone make the motion to approve. Second.
Second.
Motion made by nice Kathy.
Yeah.
I love that. Beautiful fans. Sorry. And I voted yes before I saw it. I've got a motion and a second to approve the Board of Finance meeting schedule for 26. Any discussion? Seeing all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's an motion carries. Review of the financials. Take a Fillmore spot. Any comments or discussion? John?
Yeah. I was in on that CIP meeting earlier. I don't think you could see me, but I could see you.
Didn't see you. No.
No,
Oh, actually.
and I saw John Mueller on, but I asked him if he could see me. And so I don't know. I viewed the whole meeting, but kind of struck out to me was we have $45 million that we, I guess, are committing towards this program. I guess. And we know that's based on, and I know it was brought up that some of these projects, they were put as a placeholder years ago, and they might be higher now. I guess one question is, what are we doing to get more up-to-date figures on that? I don't know if it was mentioned during the meeting. In any way, are we somehow reserving some of our fund balance for this, Stacy? I don't think so. I looked at our financials and I think we have $1.5 million in committed, which I think you can make the argument is somewhat committed.
So the 45 million of capital funding is over 5 years.
Right.
So it is projected.
Yep.
For years 2 through 5. When you look at next year's budget, you will see a piece of that. But that 45 million includes our debt service and our capital.
Okay.
So on the presentation, you could see the delta between the two. And what we're looking at you can see the draft of the CIP on the website, but we're looking at not only using grants, but we infuse money and build up capital project balances in order to support expenditures. Yeah, so the only other thing as far as fund balance, in the program itself, there is some special appropriations identified in the major roads account, but that will go through the whole entire process. It's in the document. It'll go through CIP committee as well as Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance later on.
And the other thing I was thinking about is of that $45 million, I mean, we could go apply for grants for some of those projects as well, or we already have, or might not have heard back yet, but we're pursuing.
That's net of grants. That's funding going in.
That we know about.
Our capital project. That's not necessarily, if you go back to the slide before, we were saying over the 5 years, we're going to spend 32 million. Net of grants, I think of about 2.4 million. So that 45 is what we're either paying debt service with or putting into our CIP to pay the 30 million of project.
Good.
I just want to make one comment because there was a question about, escalating costs. The reality is, in order to get more precise, you have to spend money and you have to be planning to move ahead with the project, right, within the next, 2 years. So that's the catch with having a 5-year or 10-year plan. You kind of give an estimate, and inevitably with the markets being the way they are, construction being the way they are nowadays, it's just very hard to predict that. So until you're like 1 year out, because now you don't have full designs. A lot of these are concepts. There's, staff using their knowledge to put down estimates. It's an estimate. It's not a plan design. It's not a construction budget. So that's why these things come up. I wouldn't say there's total surprises all the time, but they're like, you got to start somewhere to save, right? And then as you get closer, you try to, close in. And a lot of times the planning dollars aren't until the year before, right? So we take percentage. And so that's when the surprise happens. You get a big, the engineers come back and they said, this is going to be this now. And they also look at things in the project that we didn't anticipate, when we started. Design issues or whatever, or barriers, to doing stuff.
So go ahead, Stacey.
I was just going to say along those lines, it is a planning tool.
Yep.
Really is years 2 through 5. We're putting out there what we think in a perfect world. Everything will happen and we found a way to fund it, but we all know that years 2 through 5 is up for fluctuations.
That was my point. I mean, Madison does a very good job, unlike other places where they try to pre-fund it, right? And I think Peggy used the words, we save for it, we get some plan numbers. Not every municipality or town does that. And in reality, it becomes a 5-year capital plan with the 1-year capital plan, really, because that's when you fund it, and the 4-year more of a wish list. So just because it's in there doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to spend that X amount of dollars. That's all. Any other comments on the financials? Any citizen comments? Jane, anybody, I don't see anybody with their hand up.
No one else is on raising their hand.
Before we do a motion to adjourn, and I'm going to ask that very quickly, the board liaisons are in that, so now everybody got back, and I appreciate that. Also, and I'm sure we're along with packet. To me, I have no issue with having more than one Board of Finance member on any of these as a liaison. So if you want to send me, there's some that just have one. If you want to attend the meeting, you're welcome to do it. And someone can report back to the board. But I just want to say thank you for all those who volunteered really quickly. To help out. I appreciate it. That's it for me. So. Get a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, motion carried.
Happy holidays all.
Well, I'm gonna buy drinks at Donnie, you're gonna like to come. You're included.
Serious.